Yeah, I think you know what time it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Ralph McDaniels in the building. Uncle Ralph McDaniels. Round of applause, y'all.
Kitchen room. All right.
That music sounds familiar.
You may have heard this one once or twice. This was my cue to run home.
Yeah.
So welcome to the kitchen room.
Yes, definitely.
This is where we are every Wednesday, man. We just, the organic element here, as you can see.
Yo, this is so dope, man. Thank you for having me, man. I'm just happy to be here. The beat you is rocking, son.
Word, yeah.
I was like, okay, I see where we going.
No doubt. Got to go into the archive sometimes, We do like, we try to play a lot of the newer hip hop stuff and, create the platform for the stuff that doesn't really get heard in other places. But that stuff is all connected too. So
indeed.
You know what I mean? You know as well as anybody. So
indeed. We got to bridge the gap. That's what, I get upset sometimes when the young people don't know about some of the history of it. But, as an older guy, I got to respect what the new people are doing too. So, it's mutual, on both sides.
No doubt.
Who inspired you? Who inspired you to start music videos like back in '83 or before that?
Well, I'll tell you the story how it even came about. I was working at this TV station, and for people in the New York area know Channel 31, WNYC. It's like a public station that they basically aired like Sesame Street and shows like that, PBS type public broadcasting. And so I was like, man, we need to put something on for the hood. And one day these music videos came in. They weren't even music videos first. They were like live performances of groups. Back then, music videos were made to just send to like publicity people to just show you the artist, like, this is Nas or this is Run DMC or this is,
like some promo stuff.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be aired on TV. It was just for people to look at it in their office so they could see what the artist looked like. And so I was like, man, we should put this on TV. Like this would be kind of crazy. So, I proposed the idea to the station, and and they said, yeah, let's do it. But they didn't know what it was, so they were a little reluctant. So they sat on it for like that idea for like 6 months, and then Hot Tracks came on. And Hot Tracks was basically the same thing. And for people in New York who know New York, Hot Tracks, Carlos De Jesus hosting it, I was like, that's my show right there. That's what I'm talking about. So Hot Tracks came on like about 6 months before us, and they played, whatever hip-hop videos were available. Now, mind you, back then, there's only like maybe 20 hip-hop videos that exist.
You're very limited.
I remember Black is Back. I saw it about 20 times a day. Self-destruction.
Exactly. It's even less than, when I started. So, we had to go out and do live performances, go to the, the center, go to wherever hip-hop was happening at, where artists was performing, and then record them, and then we would bring it back. And that's how the shout-outs came about, because we were in the clubs, So now we got a regular show on every day after school, and kids are coming home from school. This is now 1983, mind you. Hip hop is not really even on the radio like that, It's like except on Friday nights, Saturday nights, late night. Mr. Magic, Red Alert gets on Kiss, Chuck Chill Out, Marley and Magic, and and other Awesome 2 and other guys, Bill Blass.
Oh damn!
Yeah, Vandy C. They the college type situations. So that's the beginning of it. But we're on during the daytime. Like from 4 to 5 or 3:30 to 4:30, and people can come home and get it on their TV set. And so that's why the impact of it was so crazy. Mind you, I wasn't just playing hip hop videos. I was playing like
Force MDs.
Yeah, Force MDs, but no, even like
think of the intro. Madonna was on
Madonna,
it. Right.
Some James Brown, Michael Jackson, Tears for Fears, shout.
Now, to talk about to making that connection, like there's a lot of people, especially the younger heads, that I think they grew up on this compartmentalized version of hip hop.
Yes.
They don't know anything about that downtown scene when stuff was happening at the grills and places like that, where the punk scene and the hip hop scene, it was all one scene. And
exactly.
that, you portrayed that, I think, perfectly there.
Yeah, because that's what was going on in New York. And then, it's like Grandmaster Caz said, hip hop is not one thing. It's a accumulation of a bunch of things,
right.
and that's what made it what it was. If you were playing, you know, breakbeats earlier, you know, all of those things, there's nothing that says hip hop on it, but we turned it into.
Right.
You scratched it up, and you caught that little break,
Extended the break, and that was it.
And that's what it became. And so we looked for videos like that as well. That, you know, that were cool. You know, some of them were cool because the music was cool. Some of them were cool, like, because the visuals were cool, like Aha, Take On Me. I played that, you know, all the time.
Great,
You know, it's like, wow, that was an incredible video.
Yeah,
you know,
that was groundbreaking.
Yeah.
That video, the whole drawing thing.
Rotoscope or whatever they called it.
Exactly.
No, that was it.
So you know, so here it is now, and it's all word of mouth. We have no commercials on TV, nothing. Everything is strictly word of mouth in the street, and people started finding out about it, and everybody started tuning in, and that was the beginning of, you know, how it got started, man.
This was always on my mind. You know, when I started producing and stuff, and all the sample clearance and all of that came about, people getting sued. I always wondered about this sample, Houdini. Did they
Yes.
give you clearance? Did it give you the okay on that?
No, I just used it.
Clap it up one time.
All right, clap it up just using it.
Hey, we kind of just use gangsters for all.
Well, you know what? I think it's just back at that time, though, people were just happy to get the stuff heard. I mean,
and that's what was happening.
people have such a hard time understanding now, even like in my own career as a DJ. I remember when, like, you couldn't really play this stuff anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it wasn't this worldwide phenomenon. They were probably just like, wow, there's a show playing our shit. Great.
Yeah, and they
You
were
know?
happy. You know, it's funny because I was talking to one time to Jalil from Houdini, and he said, you know, that's our most downloaded song on iTunes.
Wow.
5 Minutes of Funk. And I was like, nah, it can't be. It got to be like, you know, Freeze Come Out at Night, or, you know, something.
Love.
One Love or something, you know. And he was like, nah. He says, and that's all because of you.
I had a feeling.
All right.
Oh, I am too.
You know what? And two, you just mentioned the downtown scene, you know, and that's, you know, I'm from Brooklyn originally, and you know, and so, you know, going from you know, Bed-Stuy, where I grew up at, and then, you know, going into the city and going to the clubs like, you know, 1018 and all of these different places, the Roxy, and all these different clubs that we were going to, and hip hop was being played, and at the same time there was the upstairs room, or probably the main room was punk or house or something like that, and then the upstairs room was the hip hop room. But you got a chance to hear all these different types of sounds. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we was going to the Paradise Garage back then for house heads who know about house. That's in New York, major.
Larry Levan.
Larry Levan. And then, but at the same time, we walking past CBGBs, and the punkers, I mean, for real punkers, with the spike hair, you know, was out there, and everybody was kind of an outcast in each group, you know, like the house heads, nobody was, you know, playing that on the radio.
Gay scene, too,
Right.
for the most part. Stonewall had just
Exactly.
broken up.
The punk scene was, you know, who are these guys? You know, why do they have their hair like that? And then the hip hop heads was just like, they're thugs, and, you know, don't let them in.
Stick up kids. Don't play PSK, whatever you do.
Exactly.
Somebody's going to get robbed.
Yeah, don't play PSK, and don't play the Wrath of Cain. Yeah, so.
Did you ever
You're right about that.
Did
That's
you ever,
true, though. That one was true.
go somewhere where you didn't feel comfortable? You had to do an interview in the PJs, or somewhere you was like, wait a minute, this might not be a good idea. Let's pack it up and get the F out of here.
I still do that. look, man.
Look where you are tonight,
Let
brother.
me keep it right. I'm gonna keep it 100. I was coming out here, so I'm talking to mommy. So where we going? I said we're going to do an interview, and so well, where is it? I said it's at somebody's house. She's like, what? She's like, well, you need to tell me.
And what time? Newark.
Newark. He's like, oh man, we going in the project? I said, I don't think it's in the project.
Well, no, this is much more high end here, I gotta say.
Yes.
Let me. I know, like, you know, I wasn't a real big fan of video in the early days, because even when I was younger, I kind of predicted. You know, I always kind of felt like, what happens when the visuals need to match what's happening musically? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the whole video killed the radio star thing. You feel like it was hip hop cats made video out of necessity to be seen or to be competitive, or it was just something that you had to do at the time? Or
I think you had to do it because the record companies, it was working for rock and roll, and so once hip hop started selling to a certain extent, they said, okay, we're going to do the same thing with certain hip hop artists. And Run DMC probably was the best example of how it kind of flipped over, because they got played on MTV, and but prior to that, there was no reason to do it, because it wasn't going to get played. MTV was the benchmark you know, for everything. And so, you know, they didn't care. You know, if it got played on a show like mine and other shows like mine across the country, you know, it was cool. But they didn't really see the impact also because they were more judging everything on radio at that time. So radio was really what was driving, you know, people were coming with envelopes and dropping them off at the radio station and the record got played. And that's what they knew, record companies knew how to do. They didn't know that a video, now you see a video and like you mentioned, the video was on point. You know, it fit the concept of what was going on. The reason why I started directing videos was because I thought that the videos didn't fit the song. You know, I was like, why didn't they shoot that in Harlem? Why are they shooting that, you know, in Queens? He's talking about Harlem. Like, it didn't, you know, I was stupid like that. But I don't think I was stupid. I think I was just a fan, you know, like anybody else. And was like, you should be literally showing what's going on. And so we started doing videos and making videos look like what they were talking about. I started working with Cool G Rap. We did like 4 or 5 videos for Cool G Rap. I did Kane videos. I did all the Biz Markie videos. MC Shan.
Wow.
Did you do the Vapors?
I didn't know that.
Something for the radio?
We did the Vapors. We did something.
That's
for
my
the
hometown. I was at that video.
Coney Island?
Shoot. Well, you did.
Oh, the Vapors was in Long Island.
Well, you did some in Elizabeth, right? When, when Vaughn was at
Vaughn.
that
Right,
was
right,
right,
right.
That was the record store in the town.
Yes. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
What was your first video?
MC Shan, first hip hop video was MC Shan, Left Me Lonely.
Wow.
And that's how we started doing all of the stuff for Cold Chillin' records like, you know, Biz and Kane and Coogee Rap and Roxanne Shante. The first what you call Master Ace. You know, so we were really heavy into the Cold Chillin' thing. And those guys, I remember, you know, clearly like Magic was like, yo, we want you to do our videos and then play them on Video Music Box. So I was like, well, you know, that's kind of illegal, but there's no problem, you know.
Well, they were dope, so
but they
was
were
cool.
good, yeah, and the songs were popping, and you know, it's funny because you mentioned something for the radio. Like that wasn't a plan to do a video for something for the radio, but it was ringing off so crazy. Marley was playing it on BLS on the Magic Show that they said we just got to kind of take some footage from other things that we shot and turn it into that. So we shot it in Coney Island, and we were like, look, we're just going to go to different rides. So if you know, back in the days in Coney Island, they had the Himalaya, which was a big thing because they would play the music real loud and the thing would spin around real fast. That was a real popular ride. So we shot most of it by the Himalaya and different things and different scenes in Coney Island and just kind of put it together. It maybe cost us, you know, a couple of dollars to do it. And that's how that video came about because there was not going to be a video for that particular song.
Because it wasn't even really a song at one point. It was just kind of like the beat with ad-libs, and then they kind of added some stuff later, right?
Yeah. And even that, too, is
the Prince.
The symphony. We did the symphony. Right. And that little piano break in the beginning, that was specifically done for that video because we needed some time to introduce the different players of who was going to be in it. So we needed a little intro. The way my partner Lionel Martin, he said, I just need a little better music. And Marley created that right on the spot. You know what? It's great because these are the roots. You know, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. You know, we all, you know, if you know, like it's like coming to your studios today. You know, like. I can clearly remember going to Zanzibar, you know, in Newark, you know, like every week, you know.
No doubt.
Going
Tony
to
Humphries.
Places. Yeah, man. Even, you know, and just, you know, sometimes I look at some of the old footage from Zanzibar and it looks like a hip hop crowd. Yeah. But then you turn the volume up and it's all house. Yep. You know, and they going hard, you know, like packed, you know.
There was no like now I call it a costume. Like it's like people feel like they gotta dress apart. Like, you know, like most hip hop heads, they're all like sneaker heads or polo heads or that stuff didn't exist.
Nah.
You know, it was just be you and be a trendsetter and that was it.
Me and Kool Keith used to go to the afterwork spot in Manhattan. I can't remember where it was at. And Kool Keith had on hard bottoms and a suit and a tie.
He's probably still wearing that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
White loafers.
And a straight jacket. Shout out to Keith.